Donald Trump just fulfilled one of his campaign promises and has the opportunity to possibly gain some popularity by officially signing an executive order reclassifying marijuana. But how far does his executive order go, and will it be enough? Well, we'll get into it in just a moment. But Cenk, first, your 2 cents.
Yeah, so it's obviously done to gain political favor, but ironically, it might be a little too late because his base is turning on this. But this is the kind of things that they promise, but they're so late on. So I'll believe it when I see it.
So as we all know, or maybe you don't know, so I'll tell you, cannabis has been classified as a Schedule 1 drug, which is the same category as actual hard drugs like heroin, LSD. And with this executive order, it will now be reclassified as a Schedule 3 drug, which includes drugs like anabolic steroids or ketamine. Ketamine's a pretty serious drug, I feel like. Anyway, whatever. Let's hear more from Trump, who explained his reasoning behind this reclassification.
For decades, this action has been requested by American patients suffering from extreme pain, incurable diseases, aggressive cancers, seizure disorders, neurological problems, and more, including numerous veterans with service-related injuries and older Americans who live with chronic medical problems that severely degrade their quality of life. This reclassification order will make it far easier to conduct marijuana-related medical research, allowing us to study benefits, potential dangers, and future treatments. It's going to have a tremendously positive impact, I believe.
So I should note that while this is a good step, in my opinion, I don't think that it should be considered one of the most damaging drugs. And there is absolutely a medicinal benefit to marijuana. I would know. My mom just underwent, treatments for cancer. According to CNN, this reclassification isn't really the end all be all. So, for instance, the executive order will not make cannabis legal on a federal level. It also doesn't affect recreational marijuana, nor does it include any criminal justice changes. So remember, there are people in prison on marijuana-related crimes even today. And this isn't going to expunge anyone's record or anything like that. And this might be a move to increase his popularity with Americans. The majority of Americans do want to see marijuana decriminalized in the very least. There are a few on the right, though, who are against this. Sagar Enjeti is one of them. He says marijuana mass normalization has been a disaster for the United States. Our cities stink. I personally like the smell. Our kids are literally being poisoned and made stupid. DWIs are skyrocketing, and the promised revenue doesn't even come close to making up the mass social chaos. I think he's exaggerating a little bit, to be quite frank. But I do agree in that there needs to be better regulations around marijuana. I think simply decriminalizing it and not engaging in the proper regulations so people don't smoke and drive under the influence, that is an issue. So he's right about that. But when pressed on the fact that reclassification would allow for more research, he says nobody needs to study weed. So
yeah, Sagar's totally wrong. 2/3 of the country wants marijuana legalized. These super old politicians, every once in a while when they get into trouble, are like, well, maybe we'll move a couple of inches on marijuana. And Biden promised this in his 3rd year. Did he do it? Of course not. He's a giant liar. He never did anything he said. And they're all totally clueless and out of touch. Now, Trump finally moved the classification. So will I take the win, even though it's for optics and gimmicks and stuff? Yeah, a win's a win. I'll take it, right? And I'll give Trump a little bit of credit for doing that. But is it the end all be all? No. This was an issue we cared about, and I talked to activists that are adamant about this issue, and they say moving it to a Schedule 3 barely affects anything. You really have to decriminalize it, not necessarily legalize it. There's a difference between the two. And so I'm for that. I know the right wing now, Tucker Carlson, many others are now against marijuana legalization. I massively disagree. It's a question of freedom. If you don't want to smoke marijuana, then don't smoke it. If I want to smoke it, I'll smoke it. And if you don't like it, you can kiss my ass and you can go to a repressive country. I'm not interested in that. So I disagree with them, but there's nothing wrong with that. So this might help Trump a little bit, but ironically, not as much as he thinks, because his base has started to shift on it.
every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.